Hi, and welcome to the March Masterclass, where we are going to talk about opening leads. My name is Sofie Sjodal, and I am the teacher of the Masterclass. So today we are going to talk about opening leads. This can be a way for you to improve your own opening leads, but it can also be a way for you to get to know about more ways of doing things so that you will not be as surprised when your defenders are doing things differently from the way you are doing it. So we're going to talk about a lot of options. You can't use them all, but you can choose which one of these you want to use. So we have a lot of different types of leads. We have the one called third, fifth, or third and low. They are quite similar, but there's some small differences. So third, fifth means that you will lead your third card if you have 3 or 4. And you will lead your fifth card if you have 5 or 6. And you will also just lead your lowest from an odd number of cards and second lowest from an even number of cards. So also with 7, you're going to lead your lowest one. Third and low is a bit different because here, if you have 6 cards, you will lead the third, not the fifth. But otherwise, it's very similar. So a low card means odd, and a higher card usually means even. And then we have second, fourth, which can be used in a couple of different ways. You can play second, fourth the same way as playing third, fifth. Meaning that if you have 4 cards, you just lead your fourth. If you have 2 cards, you lead your second. And you can choose. There's different ways of doing it. Some people will always lead their second. So with 2, they will lead, or with 2 small, they will lead the smallest one. However, a lot of people lead the highest one from 2 and their second from 3. And here you were going to lead the fourth, even if you have plenty of cards in the suit. So you're not going to lead the sixth if you have 6 cards in the suit. You're still going to lead the fourth. And you can combine this with attitude. That's very common. So that if you have an honor in the suit, you're going to lead the fourth. However, if you just have 4 small, you're going to lead the second. And a big question is, what do you do with honor third? This is something you have to discuss with your partner. Some people lead the lowest from honor third, while some people do lead the second. And the last type of lead we're going to look at here is attitude. That just means that you lead a low card from an honor and a higher card if you don't have an honor. So we have a type of hand here. It's not a full hand because we have way too many cards, but we're going to look at what we're going to lead from all the different type of suits. So first we have 4 small spades. We have the 9, 8, 5, 3. So if we play third, fifth, or third and low, here we're going to lead the 5 of spades. That's because it's only telling partner how many cards we have in our suit. And we're going to lead the third or the fifth card in the suit. And if we play second, fourth, this depends. If we just lead the fourth card, if we have 4, we're going to lead the 3. But the more common way of doing it, with combining it with attitude, you're going to lead the 8 from playing the second card if you don't have an honor in the suit. So from a bad suit, you play the 8. Just to say that I don't really have anything in this suit. And from attitude, you also play a high card. Some people just play their highest, some people play their second highest, and this also depends a bit. So since here you have 9, 8, and those are connecting, some people will decide to play the 9, but if you had the 9 and 7, maybe you would play the 7. This is something you have to discuss with your partner. From the heart suit, if we play 3rd and 5th, we're just gonna play a low card. So we play the 3 to show that we have an odd number of cards. We play our lowest card, same with 3rd and low. However, from 2nd, 4th, we're gonna lead the 5 of hearts. This means that when we start playing the 5 and then later play the 3, partner's gonna know that we have 5 cards in the suit. So partner's gonna know quite a lot about our suit. For the people combining this with attitude, partner will also know that we have an honor in the suit. And then in diamond suit, 3rd, 5th, and 3rd and low is again just going to lead their 3rd card. This is a way of showing count, so we just lead our lowest card to say that we have an odd number of cards. 2nd, 4th will lead the 5, since we don't have anything in the suit, we only have 3 cards as well, so we lead the 5. This can be a bit confusing because the 5 is a low card, so it's not the optimal suit to lead from, but that is the 2nd card. And that goes for every lead. Sometimes we have a confusing lead because our cards just give a bit of the wrong impression with the cards we have. An attitude will probably lead the 8 because we don't have anything in the suit, so we just say that we have nothing. We have a bad suit, so we lead our highest card. From King 3rd, 3rd, 5th, and 3rd and low, again, you're just gonna lead your lowest card to show that you have an odd number of cards. It doesn't say anything about the honors. 2nd, 4th, here, as I told you, it depends a bit. Some people will lead the lowest one just because honor 3rd is an exemption. And some people will lead the 5 because we play 2nd, 4th. So again, this is an important situation that you should discuss with your partner. And attitude is just going to lead the lowest card. It's just going to say that we have an honor in the suit. So all of these types of leads is not something you can combine. You have to do one of them, but you can do one of the leads for a suit contract and then other lead for a no drum contract. This is something you, again, discuss with your partner. And there's nothing right or wrong, it's just what your preferences are. And all of these types of leads are from leads where we don't have a sequence. Because a sequence is more important than the other types of leads. So a sequence is a lead from, or it doesn't have to be a lead, you can have a sequence without leading it, but it's several cards after each other. So several cards connecting, such as King, Queen, Jack, 10. That's a very good sequence. And the most common way of doing things is top of sequence. So if we have at least 3 cards in a row, we usually lead the highest one. But there are exceptions. There are people who will lead differently. For example, if you play King as power, so King asks for count or unblock, you might have to lead differently. But we're not going to talk that much about this today. So today we're just going to talk about the more standard type of leads. We have top of sequence, and we also have top of inner sequence, which is a possibility. That means that you have 1 card, and then you're missing 1 or 2 cards, and then you have 2 connecting ones. So in total you have 3 honors or 3 high cards. It can be 10s and 9s and not honors, where you will lead the highest of the sequence. So you have a higher card, but you lead the one that's the top of the sequence. Instead of doing this, you can also play something called coded 10s and 9s, which is also sometimes just referred to 3rd and 5th, also for honors. And that means that you lead your 3rd card. So we're going to look at that in some of the examples. First, from King, Queen, Jack, 10, as I said, most people lead top of sequence, and then you just lead the king. If you play something else, you might have to lead something else. And it's always a good idea when someone leads an honor to ask what type of leads they have. Because maybe they're doing this in a different way from what you are doing, and it can give you great information. For example, let's say you have King, Queen, Jack 10 in the suit, and the opponent leads the Queen. Maybe you usually play top of sequence, so you're expecting that suit to be Queen, Jack 10, and the other person to have the King. But maybe they play it differently and they lead the Queen from King, Queen, and suddenly you have the wrong information because you're just making an assumption. So always remember to ask, especially if it actually matters what you're going to do. But it's a good idea to ask either way. From Jack 10, 5, diamonds here, some people, or most people, are going to lead the Jack, even though I did say that a sequence is 3 cards in a row. Because we only have 3 cards, it's even more normal to lead the highest card. If we had 5 cards, there will be discussions, 4 cards in the suit, there will be discussions of which card to lead, and some will choose the Jack and some will choose the low one. But with 3 cards, it's very normal to play the Jack from Jack 10, 5. And in the heart suit, where we have King, Jack 10, 5, we can see the difference here from top of inner sequence and the coded 10s and 9s. So top of inner sequence means that we have the King, then we're missing the Queen, but then we have Jack 10, which is sort of a sequence. It's a half one. So we lead the Jack, the top of the inner sequence. That means we have the 10 and usually either the 9 or the King. There are exemptions, as we saw in the diamond suit. However, if you play coded 10s and 9s, if you lead, and you have either 0 or 2 cards higher. So if you lead from this suit, you're going to lead the 10 of hearts. That either means you have 10, 9, and probably the 8, or you have 2 honors not connecting that are over. So for example, King, Jack 10. You can't have Queen, Jack 10 because then you're going to lead the Queen, but you have 2 cards higher that are not connected. Against a no trump, you can have Ace, Jack 10, but it's usually not a good idea to underlead your Ace against the suit contract. So in the hearts, if you play coded 10s and 9s, you lead the 10. The spade suit also has an inner sequence. So if you lead top of inner sequence, you lead the 10 of spades, saying that you have the 9 of spades and usually either the 8 or a higher card. Here we have both. But if you lead coded 10s and 9s, again we have 0 or 2 cards higher. So we're going to lead the 9, showing the 10 and a higher card, or the 8 and 7. If we decide to lead the 9 from a sequence. There's a lot of people who don't really use the 9 as a sequence, so then usually the 9 is either meaning a bad suit or honor 10-9. So as you can see, there are different ways of doing things. You can get a lot of information from figuring out what the opponents play, but it's also very important that you know that you and partner are playing the same way. Because if you don't know what partner is going to lead from, for example, King 10, 9, 8, it can be difficult to play because you don't really know if you should keep playing the suit or not. So we have some general tips for leading. Leading is really difficult. I'm sure all of you feel this way. I feel the same way myself. I keep feeling like I lead the wrong card, and that's because when we're leading, that's when we have the least information. We only have the information from the bidding, but we don't have any information from any of the other hands because, one, we haven't seen dummy yet, and we haven't gotten any signals from partner yet. So sometimes leading just feels very random, but other times we do actually have some good ideas of what we can try doing. So No matter if you're playing a suit contract or a no trump contract, usually leading partner's suit is a very good idea. There's a lot of people joking about, I didn't really want to lead my partner's suit, but I wanted to keep my partnership, so I will lead that suit. When partner bids a suit, it's very often that partner wants that suit. Of course, there are exceptions, but it's in general a good idea to lead partner's suit. And against suit contracts, it's also often a good idea to lead a singleton. We're going to look a bit more into this later. And if we don't have a singleton, we can lead a sequence. And if we don't have a sequence, an unbid suit is often a good idea. And sometimes it's also a good idea to lead the trump suit. That's something that doesn't really come that natural to us in the beginning, but eventually we realize it's working more often than we assume, especially if we think the opponents have unbalanced hands. So if we expect them to ruff quite a lot in both hands, it can be a good idea to start pulling their trumps. But that comes very unnatural to us because from the beginning we learn that the declarer is supposed to pull the trumps and the defenders are trying to get ruffs. So this is something that comes later, where we see that sometimes the declarer is actually trying to ruff as much as possible, and we as defenders have to pull their trumps. Against no trump contracts, we have less options. First of all, we can lead partner suit very often. That's a good idea. Otherwise, it's often a good idea to lead longest and our best suit. And also a sequence is a good idea. It's not written here, but often a good idea as well. And an unbid suit. It's quite often that the opponents have less in their unbid suit, so usually a good idea to lead it. But there are exceptions. Sometimes they have very good suits in, or very good cards in the unbid suits, and not so good cards in their bid suits. That's not always so easy to know. So we're going to look a bit at short suit leads against suit contracts. So when I'm talking about short suit leads, I'm thinking of singleton leads, but also doubleton leads. So these leads are good if we expect partner to have some entries. So if opponents are getting into a game, for example, and we have quite a lot of points. Let's say we have 13 high card points, and opponents have bid a game. Are we expecting partner to have a lot of entries? No, because we have most of the points. So then leading a singleton might not be a great alternative. However, if we are relatively weak and we expect partner to have an entry, it's much more likely that a singleton lead will be a good idea. It's also a better idea to lead a singleton if we have longer trumps. If we have a singleton trump, it's not a good idea to also lead a singleton, because usually opponents will be able to pull some rounds of trumps, and before our partner can get in, and partner will try to give us a ruff, but we can't ruff anymore. Very important, do not try to lead a singleton if we are void in trumps. Sometimes we just look at our cards and we say, we have a singleton, I want a ruff, and then we lead the suit, and then we don't actually have trumps, and it's not going to help us at all. That's of course not often that we have two singletons or a singleton and a void, but it does happen. And doubleton leads are also a thing that we can do to get a ruff, and it works in a very similar way. If we expect partner to have entries, it's better, and also if we have longer trumps. This is even more important with doubleton leads because we actually have to get rid of two cards before we can get a ruff, so having some extra trumps really helps us. But I would advise you to avoid doubleton leads from an honor. It can work, but it is more common to give away a trick than if we just lead from too small in the suit. So here we have an example. We can see that West opened a diamond. Our partner bid a spade. East bid 2 hearts, and we decided to bid 2 spades. We could also bid 3 spades if that's a weak bid. We bid 2 spades, and then they bid 4 hearts. Now, I did tell you that leading partner suit is very often a good idea. However, here it's probably a good idea to lead our singleton. Because if we lead our diamond, then maybe they get in on the ace of diamonds, but we now have the ace of hearts. So we can raise with the ace of hearts in the first round of trumps and play a spade. Because we expect partner to have a good spade suit, we expect partner to have an entry in spades, and then partner can give us a diamond ruff. And if we're lucky, this partner has 2 spade entries, and opponents have 2 spades each, and partner can get in twice, and we can get 2 diamond ruffs. That's of course if we are lucky. That's not obvious, but even just him getting in once might help us. So here, because we have an honor, or we have the ace of trumps, it's even more likely that we can get a ruff, because we know that we have 2 chances of partner getting in. We have the chance of partner having the ace of diamonds. We also have the chance of partner having the ace of spades. So here, a diamond lead is looking very attractive. Here, West opened a club, East bid a heart, West bid 2 heart, and East bid 4 hearts. Again, we have the ace of hearts, which is for sure a stopper in hearts, so we can make sure that they cannot pull our trumps straight away. So here, a diamond lead is also an option, hoping that partner can get in, either because partner can have the ace of diamonds and maybe duck it once, so that we can get in and play another diamond partner, or that we can manage to get 2 rounds of diamonds out before they manage to pull our trumps. Here, however, we have as much as 11 points, high card points, and opponents have bid to game, so we know that partner doesn't really have that much. Partner has probably something, but not so much. And our doubleton is ace doubleton, so it's an honor doubleton, meaning that if we lead the ace, maybe they have king third, upset queen third, and suddenly they only have 1 loser instead of having 2 losers, as they normally would have. So here, because we're not expecting partner to have much entries, we can't stop them from pulling trumps straight away unless partner has something. We don't really want to lead our doubleton, so here leading our sequence is most likely a better idea. However, if partner does have the king of diamonds, it could have been a good idea, but we kind of need partner to have the king of diamonds here for this to be a good idea. And it's not so likely when partner doesn't have that many points. So, passive or active leads? Should we go all in and try our best to get our tricks straight away, or should we just sit there and wait to get our tricks in the end because the clear has to solve things? Well, that is the $1 million question, and it's really difficult to figure out. Sometimes we misguess, sometimes we guess correctly, sometimes we do actually have something to make a good assumption. So we have a couple of questions we can ask ourselves, such as, does partner seem to have any points? And does the opponent seem to have a long suit, or maybe even 2 long suits, so that they can take a lot of tricks? Is declare or dummy the strong hand? And do we really have any good options? And also, one important thing, are we playing imps or match points? So in imps, we're always doing our best to just beat the contract, whilst in match points, we're doing our best to get as many tricks as possible. So in imps, we might lead more aggressive to just get our tricks, because we know that they will probably make their contract if we're not leading aggressively, whilst in match points, it's much more difficult. And we also usually lead more aggressive towards a no-trump contract than we do towards suit contracts, because leading aggressively, especially from long suits, can help us establish tricks. And it's also more attracted to lead through strength than into strength. So we have an example here. We see that we have 11 high card points and opponents have bid to 3 no. So we're not expecting a lot of points from partner, but partner can have something. Here we have a couple of options. Well, we have 4 suits, so we could lead either one of them. And some people might find the ace of spades attractive because we're probably not going to give away that many tricks, and maybe partner has a long spade suit. However, the problem of leading the ace of spades is that we might establish their 9th trick, or we might give them tempo to establish their 9th trick. So usually bridge is kind of a competition of who can get their tricks first. So here I would try to lead a club, especially towards imp, because if we lead a club, yes, we might give away a club trick if the clearer has ace queen of clubs, but that might not actually be so bad, because we play a club, and if just partner has the 10 of clubs, that can help us a lot. We play a club to the 10, maybe they need a spade trick, so they're playing a spade to their king, and we can play another club to their ace, and they have to get their spade trick, so they have to play another spade to our ace, and now our clubs are good, so we can cash our club tricks. So if partner just has the 10 of clubs, we are in good shape. But if partner has the queen of clubs or the ace of clubs, we are in amazing shape. So we're probably not going to have the tempo of beating this contract if we lead passively. So in this hand, I would lead as actively as possible, but that's especially towards imp. Against match points, it's a bit more difficult. Here we see that East opened 2 no trump, showing 20-21, and West raised to 3 no trump. We have 10 high card points, so we know that partner doesn't really have that much. And we know that we are leading into the strong hand. So since we're leading into the strong hand, here I would go for a more passive lead because I don't really want to give away any tricks from my kings. So here I would just lead a club and hope that I get into all my kings and at some point can establish my 4th club for another trick. Another difficult question is, should we try our own suit or should we try finding our partner's suit? Well, again, we have a couple of questions we can ask ourselves and see which one we should go for. First of all, do we really have any entries? So if we lead our suit, are we gonna get in to make sure that we can get our tricks in the suit? And can we lead through dummy, or are we gonna lead into a declarer suit? And did a partner bid a suit? So the last question is, of course, if partner bid a suit, it's probably a good idea to lead partner suit, but not always, but often. Whilst the 2 other questions are a bit more complicated. But here we see an example. We see that we have 3 high card points, so we have a very bad hand. So here I would probably try to find my partner instead. Since they're not bidding any majors, it's often popular to lead a major against the bidding 1-0, 3-0. So I would go for a spade, hoping that I can help partner a little bit by having the queen, but the partner has longer spades than I do. Because if I lead a heart, it's likely that partner doesn't really have that many hearts, and we can't, or maybe we can establish a heart suit, but I don't have enough entries to cash my heart tricks in the end. So here I would try a spade lead instead. Here on the other hand, it's quite different. Because here I have 11 high card points, so we're not expecting a lot from partner. So here I would try my own suit. I have Jack 10-9 5th of hearts, so I have a sequence. So I would lead the top of my sequence with the Jack of hearts, so that I can play hearts every single time I get in. Because I lead a heart, maybe I get in on, for example, the King of Diamonds, I can lead another heart, and I can get in on my club and I can lead the last heart, and then I still have the ace of spades to get in for my last 2 heart tricks. Or maybe a partner can help me a little bit in hearts so that I can cash my heart tricks even earlier. So, short summary, leads are really difficult. You are gonna miss your lead plenty of times, and everyone does. So do not lose your motivation just because you keep leading the wrong suit, because everyone does. Leads are super difficult. However, the important thing is that we have clear agreements with our partner of which card to lead. Because we might not know which suit to lead, but usually we should know which card in the suit that we should lead. And then also it's important to know opponents' agreements, because we might get some help in our declaring if we know what the opponents have. Remember that all the agreements we make with our partner, we have to share with the opponents. And the same goes the other way. So all the agreements the opponents have, they have to share with you. And passive leads are more likely when our partner is weak and also when declarer is strong. And active leads are more likely when opponents have long suit, or we think we just need to establish our tricks because we need to take our tricks before they take their tricks. And it's more tempting to lead through strength than into strength. So I would rather lead dummy suit than declarer suit if I'm going to lead one of their suits. That was all for today. I hope you're all going to play the tournament, and I'll see you in the discussion of the boards.